Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to completely strip away the noise and look directly at the fundamental difference in how the wealthy view money compared to, well, pretty much everyone else. If you're looking for a direct, totally actionable understanding of how true wealth is actually generated and kept, you are in the absolute right place. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this wild, somewhat provocative thought. Everything you were taught about money is a lie. I know, it sounds intense, right? But think about it. For generations, most of us have been handed this very simple, seemingly bulletproof formula. Study hard, get good grades, find a secure job, and work for a paycheck. But our source material today reveals that this conventional wisdom, it's precisely what keeps millions of people financially stuck. We've been trained for decades on how to be truly excellent employees, but we were never really taught how to be owners.
Section 1. A Tale of Two Mindsets.
Let's talk about two completely different approaches to life. A tale of two fathers, if you will. On one hand, you have the traditional mindset. Now, this person might actually be highly educated. They earn advanced degrees, believe deeply in academic success, and they work tirelessly at a secure job. But here's the catch. They're entirely trapped by conventional advice. Now, contrast that with the wealthy mindset. This approach might not be highly educated in the traditional academic sense, but it deeply understands the actual mechanics of business. While one spends their whole life working for money, the other focuses entirely on building systems and acquiring assets that generate money completely on their own. It's a night and day difference.
And this massive psychological shift really comes down to just a few words. The traditionally educated mindset often says, "I can't afford it." And boom, when you say that, your brain essentially clocks out for the day. The conversation ends, the problem is closed, and you go watch TV. But the wealthy mindset, it relies on a question. How can I afford it? Just asking that forces your brain to actually search for solutions. It triggers creativity. It transforms an insurmountable obstacle into a puzzle that's just waiting to be solved.
You know, that linguistic shift stems from a much deeper difference in core values. The traditional mindset is totally rooted in valuing security. And honestly, that often feels like the claustrophobia of hiding behind a shield just to avoid failure at all costs. You worry about losing money, so you cling desperately to a steady paycheck. But the wealthy mindset, they value opportunity. They are out there building a staircase. They literally refuse to let the fear of uncertainty keep them in situations they dislike. Instead, they actively seek out the opportunities that lead to true independence.
Section 2. Assets versus liabilities.
So, the absolute crucial point here is this remarkably simple definition. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket, period. Just forget all the complex financial jargon for a second. Imagine money literally flowing right into your pocket while you sleep. If a thing generates cash flow and continues producing income even while you are entirely disconnected from the work, that is an asset.
On the flip side, a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Now, this is exactly where society usually gets it completely wrong. We are told again and again that buying a massive house or a luxury car is a sure sign of wealth. But think about the money just draining out of your accounts for those things. If your possessions require continuous maintenance, taxes, insurance, and giant monthly payments, they are liabilities. It's the classic trap, right? You buy a fancy sports car to look successful, only to suddenly realize the car actually owns you.
So, what do the wealthy actually acquire? Well, they are hyper-focused on income-producing assets. We're talking about acquiring real businesses that run under a solid management team while you're away. We mean investing in a rental property that faithfully deposits a check into your account on the first of every month, whether you get out of bed or not. It's buying dividend-paying stocks or creating intellectual property that pays royalties for years and years. Every single one of these items creates another independent, highly resilient stream of income.
Let's put this into perspective. Imagine two employees who both receive a $3,000 bonus at work. The first person uses it for the down payment on a luxury car. This is a highly visible liability. Sure, they look instantly rich to all their friends, but the second person, they take that exact same $3,000 and quietly invest it into an income-producing asset. Now, in the short term, their life looks exactly the same. The purchase is completely invisible to the neighbors. But let's jump ahead 10 years. That car has continuously drained the first person's bank account in maintenance and depreciation, while the second person's invisible asset has been generating continuous, passive cash flow. The secret is that the wealthy build assets first and then buy luxuries with the profits later.
Section 3. Escaping the rat race.
The failure to distinguish between assets and liabilities leads directly to one place, the hamster wheel. Let's walk through it. Step 1, you get a promotion and earn more money. Amazing, right? But then, in step 2, lifestyle inflation hits and you immediately go buy a bigger house or a nicer car. By step 3, your monthly expenses have instantly increased to perfectly match your new, higher income, which forces you right into step 4. You have to take on more stress and work even harder, running faster and faster on that wheel just to pay for all those new liabilities. The wheel spins faster, but you aren't actually getting anywhere.
And the fundamental flaw of this rat race is that exchanging time for money has a hard ceiling. And this matters directly to you because it really doesn't matter if you make $20 an hour or $2,000 an hour as a highly respected professional. If your income depends entirely on your own labor, you are forever trapped under that hourglass. There are literally only 24 hours in a day. If you stop working, your income stops. The wealthy simply do not work for money. They build assets so their money works for them.
Section 4. Your real financial education.
Now, traditional schooling is absolutely fantastic at building academic and professional intelligence, but there is a massive gap here. We spend years learning math, science, and history, but it's pretty shocking how few schools require a dedicated personal finance class compared to, say, calculus. Because of this gap, you can have brilliant doctors, engineers, and lawyers who possess incredibly high professional intelligence but remain completely financially illiterate. A high income alone absolutely does not equal wealth. Your financial behavior does.
True financial freedom is achieved at the exact moment the passive income generated from your assets is large enough to cover all of your living expenses. When you hit this equation, working becomes a choice rather than a daily necessity for survival. It's really not about obsessing over stacks of cash. It is entirely about bought-back time. Time is the ultimate luxury that assets buy you. It gives you the absolute freedom to choose exactly how you live every single day.
But achieving that freedom requires continuous learning. As the saying goes, knowledge is the only asset that nobody can take away from you. Financial education isn't just some one-time class you take, it's a lifelong practice. The wealthy deeply understand that mistakes in business and investing aren't things to be feared or hidden away. Mistakes are vital nutrients. They are the learning opportunities that increase your financial intelligence and permanently reduce your fear over time.
So, what does this all mean for us? Well, I want to leave you with this one critical question. What asset will you build today? It's time to stop automatically asking, what can I buy when you get a little extra money, and start actively asking, what asset can I acquire? Take this mindset shift, apply it to your very next financial decision, and start making your money work for you. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the conventional wisdom, and hey, here's to building your own financial freedom starting right now.